You know what's frustrating? There's like a million pieces of financial information out there, and nobody tells you what order to do things in. Like, should you pay off debt first, or invest, or save for an emergency fund, or focus on your career? And because there's no clear roadmap, most people just end up doing nothing because they're paralyzed by all the options. Yeah, so I spent like 3 years spinning my wheels financially because I was trying to do everything at once. I'd save a little, then feel guilty about not investing, so I'd invest a little, then panic about debt, so I'd throw money at that. And meanwhile, I had no clear direction or progress. It was exhausting, and I felt like I was working hard on my finances, but not actually getting anywhere. My name is Don, and I used to think I needed to become a financial expert before I could invest, when really I just needed to understand like 5 basic things and then actually start. And here's what I finally figured out. There's a specific order you should tackle your finances in. And if you follow that order, everything becomes clearer and way less overwhelming. These 5 moves build on each other, and if you skip steps, you end up wasting time and energy. Before we get into it, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button if you want to see more content about building wealth and making smarter money decisions. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to have a clear roadmap for exactly what to focus on and in what order, which is going to eliminate so much confusion and stress. All right, let's jump into the first move you need to make. And this might surprise you because it's not what most people expect. Financial move number 1, track your spending for 30 days without trying to change anything. So here's the thing. Before you can fix your finances, you need to know what's actually broken. And most people have absolutely no idea where their money goes. They think they know, but they're almost always wrong. I certainly was. I used to think I spent maybe $200 per month on food. Turns out I was spending closer to $500 when I actually tracked it. I thought I was being pretty responsible with money, but I was hemorrhaging cash in ways I didn't even realize. Here's what you need to do for 30 days. Track every single expense. And I mean everything. That $3 coffee, that $12 lunch, that $40 Amazon order you barely remember placing. All of it. Use an app like Mint or YNAB, or just use a notes app on your phone. I don't care. Just write down every expense as it happens. And here's the crucial part that most people get wrong. Don't try to change your spending during this 30 days. You're not trying to be better yet. You're just gathering data. If you normally buy coffee every morning, keep buying coffee. If you usually eat out 3 times a week, keep eating out. You're observing, not changing. The reason this is so important is because you can't make a plan without accurate information. If you think you spend $2,000 per month on expenses, but you actually spend $2,500, any budget you create is going to fail immediately. You'll think something's wrong with you, when really the problem was that you built your plan on bad data. When I did this for the first time, I was genuinely shocked. I was spending about $400 per month on stuff I couldn't even remember buying. Just random purchases that seemed small at the time, but added up to serious money. I was spending $150 per month on subscriptions I barely used. I was spending $80 per month on convenience foods when I could have meal prepped for way less. None of this was obvious until I actually tracked it. My perception of my spending was completely different from reality. And I see this with everyone who finally sits down and tracks their expenses. The number is always higher than they expect, and the categories are always surprising. So that's move 1. 30 days of honest tracking. At the end of those 30 days, you'll have a clear picture of where your money actually goes, and that becomes the foundation for everything else. Don't skip this step because you think you already know. You don't. Nobody does until they track it. Financial move number 2, build a $1,000 emergency fund as fast as humanly possible. All right, once you've tracked your spending and know your real numbers, move 2 is building a starter emergency fund of $1,000. And notice I said $1,000, not 3 to 6 months of expenses or some huge intimidating number. Just $1,000. Here's why this is move number 2. before investing, before paying off debt, before anything else. That $1,000 is what stops financial emergencies from becoming financial disasters. Your car needs a repair? $1,000 covers most repairs. Your laptop dies? $1,000 gets you a replacement. You have a medical expense? $1,000 handles most urgent care or ER visits after insurance. Before I had this emergency fund, every unexpected expense sent me into panic mode. I'd have to put it on a credit card, which meant I was going deeper into debt. Or I'd have to skip paying another bill to cover the emergency, which caused late fees and stress. It was a constant cycle of financial chaos. But once I had $1,000 sitting in a savings account that I didn't touch, everything changed. When my tire blew out, I was annoyed, but I wasn't panicked. I just transferred money from my emergency fund, got it fixed, and then rebuilt the fund over the next couple months. The emergency didn't derail my entire financial life. Here's how to build this fast. Look at your spending tracker from Move 1 and identify areas where you can temporarily cut back hard. Cancel subscriptions you don't need. Stop eating out completely for a few weeks. Sell stuff you don't use. Pick up extra shifts or do some side gigs, whatever it takes to get that $1,000 as quickly as possible. For me, it took about 6 weeks of being really aggressive. I sold some old electronics and furniture I wasn't using for about $300. I cut my food spending in half by meal prepping everything. I picked up some freelance work on the side, and I scraped together that $1,000 and put it in a separate savings account at a different bank, so I wouldn't be tempted to touch it. And here's the important part. Once you have that $1,000, you only use it for actual emergencies, not for, I really want this thing, or this is a great deal, only for true unexpected necessary expenses. And when you do use it, you rebuild it immediately before moving forward with other financial goals. This $1,000 emergency fund is the foundation that makes everything else possible. It's what lets you focus on Move 3 without constantly getting derailed by unexpected expenses. Financial move number 3, get any employer 401k match because it's literally free money. All right, move 3. If your employer offers a 401k match, you need to contribute enough to get the full match. This comes before paying off debt, before saving more, before anything else, because it's the highest guaranteed return you'll ever get on your money. Here's how 401k matching works. Your employer says if you contribute X% of your salary to your 401k, we'll match it with free money. Common matches are things like, we'll match 50% of your contributions up to 6% of your salary, or we'll match 100% up to 3% of your salary. Let's do the math on why this matters so much. Say you make $50,000 per year, and your employer matches 50% up to 6%. If you contribute 6%, that's $3,000 per year from you. Your employer adds $1,500 for free. That's an instant 50% return on your money before any investment gains. You literally cannot get better returns anywhere. And yet, so many people don't take advantage of this. They think they can't afford to contribute to their 401k, or they don't understand how matching works, or they just never got around to setting it up. And they're leaving thousands of dollars on the table every year. When I first started my job, I didn't contribute to my 401k for like 8 months because I thought I needed that money in my paycheck. Looking back, that was so dumb. I left probably $1,000 in free money sitting there that I'll never get back. Once I finally set up my contributions to get the full match, I barely even noticed the difference in my paycheck, but my retirement account started growing automatically. Here's how to do this. Log into your employer's benefits portal, or talk to HR and find out if they offer 401k matching and what the terms are. Then set up contributions that get you the full match. If they match 100% up to 3%, contribute 3%. If they match 50% up to 6%, contribute 6%. Whatever the number is, hit it. And I know what you're thinking. But Don, I have debt. Shouldn't I pay that off first? We'll get to debt in a minute, but the 401k match comes first because it's free money that you can't get later. Your debt will still be there next month, but if you don't get the 401k match this year, it's gone forever. The only exception to this rule is if you have credit card debt with crazy high interest rates, like over 20%. In that case, you might want to pay that off before worrying about the 401k match. But for most other debt, the guaranteed 50% or 100% return from the match beats paying off debt with lower interest rates. Once you've got your 401k contribution set up to get the full match, it's completely automated. Money comes out of your paycheck before you even see it, goes into your retirement account, gets matched by your employer, and starts growing. You don't have to think about it or manage it. It just builds wealth automatically in the background. Financial move number 4, attack high-interest debt aggressively, starting with the worst first. All right, move 4 is dealing with high-interest debt, and this is where you need to get intense. I'm talking about credit card debt, personal loans, payday loans, anything charging you more than like 8 to 10% interest. This stuff is financial cancer, and you need to cut it out as fast as possible. Here's why high-interest debt is so destructive. Let's say you have $5,000 in credit card debt at 22% interest. If you only make minimum payments, you'll pay that debt off in like 15 years and pay over $6,000 in interest alone. That's more than the original debt amount. You're basically buying everything twice. And while you have that debt, it's dragging down everything else you're trying to do financially. Every dollar going to interest payments is a dollar that could be invested in growing. High-interest debt is the enemy of wealth building, period. Here's how to attack this. Make a list of all your debts with their balances and interest rates. Then you have 2 strategies to choose from. The debt avalanche method, where you pay off the highest interest rate first, regardless of balance. Or the debt snowball method, where you pay off the smallest balance first, regardless of interest rate. Mathematically, the avalanche method saves you more money because you're eliminating the most expensive debt first. But psychologically, the snowball method gives you quick wins that keep you motivated. I use the snowball method because I needed those early victories to stay committed. Either way, here's the process. Make minimum payments on all your debts to avoid late fees and credit damage. Then throw every extra dollar you can at your target debt until it's gone. Then move to the next debt and do the same thing. I had about $8,000 in credit card debt when I finally got serious about paying it off. I used the tracker from Move 1 to find places to cut spending, and I redirected that money to debt payments. I also used money from side gigs and bonuses. It took me about 14 months to pay it all off, and it was honestly one of the best things I've ever done financially. The moment that last credit card was paid off, it was like this massive weight lifted. I wasn't sending hundreds of dollars to credit card companies every month anymore. That money could stay with me and actually build wealth instead of enriching banks. Now, one important note. This is specifically about high-interest debt. Student loans at 4%, car loans at 5%, mortgages at 3%. Those are fine to just make minimum payments on while you move to Move 5. You're not in a rush to pay off low-interest debt because the interest isn't killing you, and you can often earn better returns by investing instead. But credit card debt at 18 to 25%? That needs to die ASAP. Nothing else you do financially matters if high-interest debt is eating you alive. Financial move number 5. Start investing consistently, even if it's just $50 per month. All right, final move. Once you have your spending tracked, your $1,000 emergency fund saved, your 401k match locked in, and your high-interest debt eliminated, it's time to start building real wealth through investing. And here's what I wish someone had told me earlier. You don't need thousands of dollars to start investing. You don't need to understand the entire stock market. You don't need to pick individual stocks. You just need to consistently put money into low-cost index funds and let compound interest do its thing over decades. I started with $100 per month, which felt like nothing at the time. But that $100 per month invested at 10% average returns? After 30 years, that's over $225,000. And if I can increase that to $200 per month as my income grows, that's over $450,000. This is how regular people build wealth. Not by getting lucky or picking the next apple, but by consistently investing modest amounts over long periods. Here's what you need to do. Open a brokerage account at Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. Set up automatic monthly investments into an S&P 500 index fund or total market index fund. Start with whatever amount you can sustain every month, even if it's just $50. Then increase that amount whenever you get raises or bonuses. The key is making it automatic so you don't have to decide to invest every month. It just happens, which removes the temptation to skip months or talk yourself out of it. The money transfers from your bank account, buys index fund shares, and you forget about it for decades. I check my investment accounts maybe once every 3 months now. The money just grows automatically while I focus on other things. And every year I try to increase my contribution by at least $50 to $100 per month. As my income has grown, my investing has grown with it, but the system stays the same. This is also when you should work on building your emergency fund beyond that initial $1,000. The standard advice is 3 to 6 months of expenses, and now that you've handled moves 1 through 4, you can work on getting there. But start investing even if your emergency fund isn't fully built yet. Do both simultaneously. Look, I know these 5 moves might seem like a lot, but here's the thing. If you try to do everything at once, you'll get overwhelmed and do nothing. But if you tackle them in order, one at a time, they're totally manageable. Track your spending for 30 days. Save $1,000 for emergencies. Get your 401k match if you have one. Kill high-interest debt. Start investing. These 5 moves in this order will set you up for long-term financial success better than any complicated strategy or get-rich-quick scheme. And the beautiful part is that once you've completed all 5 moves, you've built a financial foundation that just runs automatically. Your spending is tracked and optimized. Your emergency fund protects you from unexpected costs. Your 401k is building retirement wealth. You're debt-free from high-interest garbage. And your investments are compounding in the background. Most people never do these 5 things, and that's why they struggle financially their entire lives. But you're not going to be most people. You're going to follow this roadmap, tackle each move systematically, and set yourself up for actual wealth instead of just constant financial stress. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. And drop a comment telling me which of these 5 moves you're working on right now. I love hearing where people are in their financial journey. Thanks for watching, and remember, you don't need a complicated strategy. You need to do these 5 moves in order and stick with them. That's the difference between people who build wealth and people who stay broke despite good intentions. Get started on move 1 today. I'll see you in the next one.